good, feeling good, smelling good, eating good, drinking good, thinking good thoughts, having a good time, sharing good energy, in good places with good people, doing good things. Let's see. So many things. Yeah, that's a bento box, right? So many things. So many things. Ooh. Didn't mean to do that. But okay. The song that I got was Time for Some Action. I have quite a bit of notes here for this lunch meet. But that bento box, talking about so many things. Most importantly, though, no expectations, right? So, because that's really how you kind of move forward in the right energy, the energy that you really want to, is by not having expectations. But you do want to manifest, right? And that's always the struggle for a lot of people, is like being in the reality. So, gratefulness for the reality, right? Um, ooh, ooh, control and power, focus and willpower. That's the first card that came out. The Chariot. It was already flapping at me. You heard it make the noise. I wasn't even trying to do all of that yet. But okay. So there's right now we're already in that energy of moving to the new moon, right? We get a new moon, I think, on the 29th, but then there's something that's happening right now, or that should be. And then there was some weird energy, or like it's giving retrograde, but I think it's just like this whole um, knowledge base of being able to know which way to go. Like there's something about like the same trick. There's something to do with like a horse jockey, like a roughie, and a BF, which most people think that's either best friend or boyfriend, right? But it's like fate. That's actually in the terms when you're like a horse rider, like a jockey. It's the favored horse, but it didn't win, right? And I get an energy of like, well, yeah, because a lot of people are growing out of that, like, oh, I want a boyfriend, girlfriend. They're like, no, I actually want some, like, I want to date and be dating to actually meet someone that's worthy of me moving past the dating stage from, a boyfriend or girlfriend is something that you kind of, it mimics what yeah, when you were little, right? And I think a lot more people that I feel like for some people, you've always had that idea and you've kind of wavered in and out and in and out over the course of time based on whatever experiences you may have had, right? But then there's something here about like an untrained horse. There was a CD, which if you think about CDs, it's like, okay, those are like kind of extinct. But if you think of the CD in the terms of like horse racing and being a jockey, it's like this horse could be older or has a performance record, right? And then there's this like confirmation and a sire. I don't know. I didn't look up all the things. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Look up sire. Let me look that up really quick and see what that's about. Because that was the thing, the sire definition. The male parent of an animal, especially a stallion or bull, kept for breeding. Respectful form of address for someone of high social status, especially a king. Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, maybe there's some energy of like where there's, whomever the masculine is in this energy is looking at becoming more, established. That was the thing too. That was. It's like I hate to call it growing up, but it's just kind of like you want to establish something different and you can't. It's like you want to establish something different now. Like you want to race your horse now, right? You don't want to be sitting here looking at horses for years. You want to get in the races now and start, having your prize winning horse moments now. And that's what's what's happening, and that's what's calling for the change at this point, because it's like, well, why should I wait to be the owner of a prize winning horse? Is the energy that I'm getting, like going seeing a man about a horse? I don't know, what does that mean too, because I figured that was, I know that's not really what it means, but let me see. Might it actually tie in, just because these are uh Ooh, yeah, I like this. Leaving a situation without explicitly stating your reason. I like this. Seeing a man about a horse is an idiom that means you are leaving a situation without explicitly stating your reason. Usually politely to excuse yourself for a private matter, like going to the restroom. Essentially, it's a way of saying I need to step away, but don't ask me why. That's the energy of it. Like, I'm gone, but I'm not here to. Oh, that's funny because I had questioning written here on the lunch meet notes, and I was like, questioning in what? And I saw the names Quincy and Corey and Stan and Steve and whatever, and I was like, consult the cards later for names, but I wasn't really tripping off of it. But I guess it means, this exactly. Like somebody's leaving a situation, and they're like, don't ask me, don't question me. Okay. All right, let's pull a few cards on that. Got just a few too. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Someone's kind of acknowledging that, like, it's time to let go of this situation or something like that, because it's like surrender, defeat, the cost of battle. Like accepting whatever loss and surrendering to whatever is new. So maybe, like, with respect to maybe someone had their eyes on a specific horse, but that horse just really didn't have a good track record. I don't know, taking how it resonates. That horse kind of needs to be trained more, is what I'm understanding, because I said that earlier. It's like apprentices, dedication, achieving goals. It's like someone wants to race their horse now, and someone doesn't have time to wait for a horse. It needs a horse that has a performance record. I don't know how else to say it. It's kind of like, even if you're just looking at this from the standpoint of partnerships, someone needs someone who's been able to have a successful business, been able to shake and move and make things happen from nothing, not utilize, like, without connections, is what I'm understanding. It's funny because someone asked me to do a reading on someone, a celebrity on my other channel, the Celebrity Tarot Table, and they asked me to do it about someone who's dating a normie, and I was like, a normie, and it means like a normal person, and it's like, but we're all normal people, like, for them, I would hope, like, but again, people look at certain things a certain way, but it's like, well, is there a benefit to either marrying a normie or marrying a celebrity? Because at the end of the day, you want to marry the right person, right? It's kind of like choosing a horse. Do I choose the horse that's popular with the the record, or do I choose the horse that's I don't know. There's something about, they're both good horses. One is favored, but it didn't win. And then there's a CD, which is the older performance record, confirmation of the sire. That's the traits, the complete package is what I'm understanding. Science and art, racing now. So that was the emotional wheel of things. It's like, yeah, do I want to continue to wait and see if this horse is going to turn out to be a horse that I can race? Or am I going to go ahead and use the horse that I know to be ready to go? Yeah, it's like assertive, having an opinion about your own decision. Look, there's a horse on the, there's a horse on the front of the guy's thing. So it's like someone is being, assertive in expressing that, but I feel like this person's like, don't ask me anymore. Like, this person doesn't want to have the conversation anymore. Okay. And I think this person has to stand firm in that. That's a boundary. Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, if this person doesn't, this person is going to constantly be swung in and out. So it's like this person is in this roughy energy. So they're trying to use the same trick, I guess, thinking that, like, if this divine masculine goes ahead and, like, if they are resourceful enough to make this person, like, to get away with an illusion, because this is the Magician card in sideways. And I feel like, with respect for maybe the other side of the energy, the other divine partner, that divine partner actually has no attachments. So that was a different space. It was also kind of like some people are in this energy of, like, PTSD too. Like, they've trauma bonded with so many people. And as a result, all of these people getting together to find this, to work out of this, out of this trauma bond, right? Because people are usually hitting home when they're spreading rumors and using things to get people on their side, right? So that's a trauma bond that these people were making, and that's how they were able to attach these entities to these people, and that's what created this entity. Now the thing about it is they created this entity. So the huge portion of this in the bento box is like, it took all of these people, it took all of these different things, whether they liked it or not. You know what I mean? That's also the energy. And I took all of that stuff in those different boxes to actually make this entity, because there's a lot of different sides to this bento box. It could be scary. Some people don't like healthy foods. People want a snackle box with none but, candy and chips and stuff. And some people want that healthy one, right? But it's, decidedly so. This looks more appealing to the mind, to the, to every part of the person. The other one looks like a guilty pleasure a little bit, right? A snackle box with, Doritos, and, you can't see yourself really feeling as lightweight and appropriately full from one grazing to the other. So it's kind of, again, that whole like, well, do I want to be healthy now, or do I want to just wait around and be toxic and be healthy later? So there's that PTSD where even if people haven't experienced the trauma, they when people see trauma, that can also, so it's like people can work in an emergency room and see a lot of different situations, and that can cause PTSD for them. I also knew someone that was in the war, and I didn't meet this person until after the war, but they seemed, he seemed to have a lot of PTSD. Like he was very uncomfortable in a lot of situations, and like just did different weird things. And then I met this person's family, and they confirmed like a lot of that, like, yeah, but he's always seemed weird. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay. So I feel like maybe it also stems, like some of these people in your past or whatever collective, they've actually suffered from like seeing things when they were children. Like, so if they witnessed, someone being, uh, who someone's life ending in front of them, somebody being pew-pewed in front of them, if they've been in gangs and pew-pew, while we've experienced emotional things, and stuff like that, and just, things that would cause the same type of trauma. We've had the intellectual capability to actually, heal those things. Whereas some people, those traumas, because they saw it and they experienced it, they grew up in the hood, blah, 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 blah. Those times, some things, you can't really determine how long it takes someone to heal from something either. That's the hard part. And that's why there's this whole timing of like, no, I want to race and have a, enjoy, the life of this horse, now that I have the idea, that I have the finances to buy the horse, I know the man with the horse, and, all these different things about that. So let's see. So there's this other part, this bento box part's being, okay, so the PTSD. Okay, so there's some other energies out here I'm supposed to communicate about. So no attachment. So the individuals that the collective is not attached to, who created an entity, amongst themselves. That's what's coming out here now. These, in addition to, there's this like coincidence of the fact of this child protective services stuff. So the child protective services, what people don't realize sometimes is that when you do things on the physical, whether you're calling them actual child protective services, or if you're just sending out energy like, I hope this person's kids do this, and I hope this person's relationships, it's like you're actually sending out things to the universe and wanting this person's relationship with their child to be damaged and hurt and afflicted and experience a lot of trauma. And and that's the ugly part of these spells, because even if you are just wishing like, well, I hope this person, I hope it's something that happens and makes him feel like he doesn't want to be with her because her kids, or it's like, why would you want to put people through that trauma? And a lot of it is because these people have their own trauma in those spaces. They are still attached to that entity, so they don't see a problem with it hurting another child, because to them, it's like, oh, well, I'm the child. I've been through stuff too. And it's like, at some point, people have to take ownership for accepting that everybody goes through things. There's this energy out here right now of, what is it called? What is this energy? Thank you. It's this, like, it's a part of this devaluation of other people except themselves. It's like these people don't see the value in anyone except themselves. Why did this person, pass away and leave me stuck? And, they're in that moment. Like the person that I was telling you about who was in the military, their dog ran into the street one day and their dog got ran over, right? And the person couldn't do anything but stand there. And my small child was out there in the front yard with me at the time. And my child realized what was happening and started to run and race towards the street to go and rescue the dog. But this person who supposedly had been in this battle, had been over to war, this person had a Purple Heart. They came back. None of the rest of their platoon did. But I feel like it's not always because a person like actually was active in that fight. Maybe they just knew how to hide well. And that's what I'm getting now is like there's a lot of people been hiding behind these, titles like, oh yeah, I got a Purple Heart, just things that really don't actually depict who they truly are. And they're living in this PTSD moment of life that entitles them to things too. And I'm not trying to say that people who have been in war don't deserve to have the special resources, but these are the people who, even if they have the resources, their intent was never to be in the military, to be in the war, to fight. And then when they realized they got there, they were already there. It was too late kind of energy. So it's like these people were never even intending to be in the fight that they signed up for, and they constantly do that because they're misguided emotionally, mentally. They really are off. Um, and a lot of it is the PTSD. Sometimes these people were adopted. Maybe moving, from family to family, could really screw somebody up, whereas somebody else was able to adjust more. You never know, what creates these PTSD. They could even see it happening. Somebody could have witnessed their parent being beat up, but never been abused themselves. And that caused a lot of trauma to them and how they look at relationships, because maybe the first time they attracted someone, they were in a low vibration. They attracted somebody who, started to hit on them. And so they never dated again. Some people don't, recover from things, but in this energy, it's all about that whole idiom of leaving a situation without stating your reason, because you don't have to. You have the right to leave whatever situations you don't want to be in, right? And just say, I gotta go. It really doesn't matter why I'm leaving. It really doesn't matter why, I don't want to be connected. What all that matters is, what I want. And even if that feels selfish to you, I would hope that you would always choose you over me too. Rewind it back, say it to him. Because this person's always, whoever these energies are, they're always going to be in like this high priestess, in reverse, probably all the time. Energy is like they may feel like they have access to sacred knowledge. They may, have attributes and things like a divine feminine does, and they may have the capability to utilize their unconscious mind like a divine feminine does. However, they have all of this repressed intuition because of the doubts and because of the betrayals that have happened to them when they were younger, and they don't have that persistence that it takes to manifest ideas. Because look, again, this came out on the side, so it's like this person struggles with really getting this into balance. And granted, everybody's had their moments of being, in their karmic energy. You know what I mean? Some of it, a lot of times, is what fuels some individuals to really get into their Nine of Pentacles. And that's why it's like a very big, huge precaution too, like to not stay in the Nine of Pentacles either. Because it's some, again, there's all types of attachments that you can make for yourself too, that will remove you from having everything that you want. And a lot of times some people are like, well, I just want to have the money to take care of this and that and the other, and they get it, and then they never feel quite comfortable. And it's not because they don't have the money, it's just that emotion where their void is going to constantly be void, so they're going to feel that. That's going to be the Two of Swords. Yeah, that's going to be all that two energy, with the exception of like all that sword energy for sure. I feel like it's like the Two of Swords all the way down. 2 to 3 to the 4 to the 5. And those are usually typically a lot of times, I'm definitely guilty of this. I can say for myself personally, like the single moms who overwork themselves. Ooh, okay. Here's this energy too. There was a meme that came out a long time back. Ooh, yeah. And that's why a lot of, single moms typically have looked for new relationships because they didn't want to get out of the energy of being who they knew they were divinely supposed to be. But because of the misuse of the feminine energy, like because it was like, I feel like a lot of people would say chivalry is dead. But yeah, a lot of times that is what it is. It's like or it's just there to, for, some, what is it called? It's just there for some passport brothers type of agenda. You know what I mean? Because I know that they've always forced, black women to kind of take the brunt of it, like, oh yeah, you're this, you're that. But now people are speaking out saying how other cultures and other women and other da 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 are super strict. And I was just kind of like, well, they didn't see that kind of across the board. But I always took heed to the things that came out. And one of the biggest things they always purported, I think back in the like early 2000s, was like women having daddy issues. And I took that to heart. I really did. I sat my butt still and I was just kind of like, oh, I want to know. How do we get to the bottom of this? Yeah. Yeah, that was what, my focus was on, was like, okay, if that's a problem that we have, we need to figure out how to heal it, right? And so, I think those type of mindsets, those type of individuals who take the time to question, what an attachment looks like, even if they don't understand that it is an attachment at that point, because a lot of us, a portion of trauma that has, bonded us to a way of thinking. But that's literally what all of this is. That's why the boxes exist. That's why the, bento boxes of the, you could take some from here. It's almost like a grazing. You don't have to heal everything in each box right away. You know what I mean? You can take a little bit out of this and, work on this day, and then take a little bit out of that and work on that day, because healing isn't linear. It's not like, especially if you don't feel like you're on the fast course, because some people are on the fast course because they know. Some people are like, no, I'm just kind of getting the groove. I'm just trying to, figure out who the attachments are, release them, you know. But for some of the collective, it's like you're at a place where you don't have any attachments. There's no attachments to any people, place, or things, and that means there's no space for people to try and bond, or for that entity to live. And so if people have been plaguing you with this entity of all of these different trauma bonds, or traumatic moments that were put into your life, and they keep trying to reach to someone that might be able to pull a cord, it's just impossible at this point. And I don't think that they get that, just simply because they've not done that themselves. Like, there's nobody they can look up and see and in the ranks and say, because it's simply, essentially, that's saying that someone is perfect, and we're not saying that. We're just saying that someone's done the work with respect to the things that they've encountered already that have traumatized them, and they've done that so much so that they're in a secure attachment energy, where they're not attaching to themselves, or to anyone else for that matter, anything that's not secure. So where, the energy of like someone feeling like they didn't have an anchor. I know I literally felt like that at one point several years back. But it's like, okay, I felt like maybe 5 years ago I didn't have an anchor, and I got into the energy of like, how do I create that? Because I didn't have good judgment of people, character of people when I was married, but I decided to, learn how to see that in other people. And then all of a sudden, that's when a lot of people kind of expose themselves to me, you know, even to the effect of some people would trauma bond with you, while, because that's usually when they're exposing who they are, you know, the part of them that, is not, in this dependable energy, someone who doesn't have any authority over what's happening in their own circumstances, and who doesn't have any structure of their own. So the way to avoid that is to be with someone who's dependable, someone that you can count on, who has some authority and structure, etc., etc. And I think that's a huge part of the knowledge sharing that occurs when a high priestess and high priest get together, or an empress and an emperor. Oh, that, by the way, there's only 3 relationships that are coming through this cycle, but those 3 relationships are going to help a lot of other relationships. They're going to help heal a lot of other relationships, so it's going to spread out like that, especially since the divine masculines have been thinking about that. Like, dang, what if I could heal my family? What if I could heal some of my friends' relationships? What if I could heal, so and so and so and so's, by way of just kind of spreading, this love energy. And it's true. That's what could, that's what's essentially about to take place. So yeah, so these people who don't see the value in anyone except themselves, they often may even sit in an energy of like, well, why is this person leaving me stuck? You know, because we've all been there, right? Why is this person leaving me like this? And why did this person have to go now? And, you know, that's someone trying to present an energy of severe PTSD to trauma bond again with a person that they need to let go of. And so that's the huge part of like the energies that people are feeling in these readings, that it's like, oh, well, why can't this person let go? I don't know. But what I understand too is if these people had any parts in like any affiliations with organizations, you know, that do things under the moon, let's just say darker energies, darker, you know, ritualistic kind of things. If people had any affinity or affiliation with that, because what I'm understanding is like, I'm learning that someone that I was affiliated from, like, you know, first grade was actually in that energy already. And that attachment attempted to attach itself to me for the rest of my life. But what I've understood too is like what happens is these people are often utilized within the community initially as a dustpan. So think about a dustpan. Think about a dustpan's energy. A dustpan is where everybody sweeps all their stuff, right? So they feel like because they're using them for all of their stuff, that they are useful, right? That's usually like that runner energy, like someone that you could send out to go do little, you know, whatever, you know, do little whatever, because it doesn't matter, right? And in that energy, that dustpan energy of somebody being able to clean up their mess and let that person clean up their mess for them, they end up having this pride, right? They end up gaining this ego, like, yeah, I'm being used, you know, for this group to help clean up their mess and to da 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 da, right? So now they've gotten this false identity, right? Because they're a dustpan, but they see themselves with all of this pride, right? And then in addition to that, they end up in a psychosis where they struggle back and forth from feeling like a dustpan to feeling like the man, right? And that's why they feel like when people leave them, it's like, oh, why do they have to leave me? You know, why they leave me stuck? You know, they don't find the value in other people because of being in that dustpan energy themselves and treating people as such when they're in that prideful energy, right? That's how that psychosis actually sets in. Yep. Because the people, you know, and essentially, oh, okay. So there is, there are a lot of people that when COVID hit, it was their moment to make it or break it, right? Now, there's this energy that should have been soul searching in that solitude and contemplating, but they saw it as like an attack. You know, like, why is God not letting me? But in reality, it's like somebody who, let's say, they wanted to be on the stages across the world, right? And they felt like they were gaining the momentum for that. But see, the thing is sometimes you're diverted so that you can gain the exposure, but you have to be focused on yourself. Like, you have to be looking at what you want. You have to be looking at you for you to get other people to look at you too, right? So this person never went inward. And in that moment, it's like they could have captured, think about it. People couldn't go nowhere during COVID. So if you got something that you could do and you could do it on the regular in front of people and put out the word for it, it would have an attraction of its own, right? Especially if it actually turned out to be good. And it's like, what was the DJs, they were doing their DJing all night and stuff like that. Like, these things were so wonderful, and I'm sure it brought a lot more popularity. But this is kind of like understanding where this person failed. Okay. So this person failed because back then, when we were experiencing all of that in COVID, they didn't have the mindset. Like, some people even got so creative, like, I mean, so creative. You know, they got bento boxed out. They got so creative that they were making money making dominoes, because people were receiving, you know, people still had incomes, people still had lives. So they were, you know, making money, making dominoes, you know, making custom dominoes, making custom this. That's how a lot of people ended up, you know, becoming something new, an entrepreneur in this energy. But these people missed that because they were so focused on the fact that someone else was doing it, right? They were too busy looking out, but they had their eyes set on certain people because they felt like, again, that dustpan. And honestly, sometimes people feel like they can take it out on the people that have actually been there for them, because they feel like, well, you're stronger than me, so why can't I take it out on you? You know better how to get out of this situation. Like, I had someone whose, you know, roommate passed, and, when that happens, yes, it's very traumatic. And so I was available to go and help clean out their place and, help get everything together and stuff like that. And this person literally did not make anything, like they didn't, it's almost like they didn't move off the couch, even though, I did everything to try to like help get them back on their feet. They had everything available to them. They utilized what they wanted to for the purpose of like, just staying in that party life. Go to work, hang out, go to work, hang out, go to work, hang out. They never really saw that as the opportunity to like seize the master bedroom kind of energy. It's like someone was a roommate and their roommate had the master, and then their roommate passed and they were allowed to stay there because the roommate's passing, left them with, a year's worth of rent and, a vehicle. And that year's worth of rent and vehicle, I come in, help them clean up everything, get it all going, right? They're good. But then COVID hit, so now people can't, do the same things. And this person just sat. Instead of really, they sat daydreaming about what it would have been like if COVID didn't hit, instead of saying, okay, well, since COVID hit, what can I do differently? Like, how can I use this? That's these people's problem. They always see every problem as like somebody did it to them. And so that's what's happening now. Somebody's going to listen. Hey, God humbles better than I can humiliate. So at this point, a lot of people are, because they're not choosing to see correctly and they're focusing still on the collective versus themselves, they're going to be met with that same moment. And it's going to be, but this is the thing. See, as quickly as COVID hit and took away all these opportunities, that's going to be, it's going to hit that same way. Because again, I wrote that down here. It's like another moment of aftermath, but harder than before, because that's what tends to happen when you don't learn that lesson in the cycle. It's like it keeps getting worse and worse. And you keep looking at yourself like, damn, what am I doing wrong here? Until finally you look back and you're like, aha. Now there was this meme that went around. It was like, what if all of your exes, what if all your exes showed up at your front porch? And for some of us, I feel like we actually had to experience that most recently. Like even people that we never, met. Because me personally, I've had people try to come back into my energy that I literally never even met in real life. Like we talked on the phone a few times. We made plans to meet up. You did some dumb, stupid duck stuff. And so I, that was, I moved on. But it's like even those type of energies are seeing that they fumbled. So that's the, part of that energy. But it's like, you're back in that victory because what you were able to do is learn from all of those experiences. But that's what you're supposed to do. And even though it may have taken a lot of experiences, okay, be grateful that it's not as many as others, because again, some people are still in those cycles. Some people are, they didn't been expired. Emotionally and all the rest of that, but they haven't really taken themselves out the game, so to speak, to put themselves in a better position. And that's essentially what's happening. Ooh, maybe a lot of them holding on to being like materialistic and stuff like that. Yeah, they don't see the value in people. They see the value in stuff, and they see the value in taking, the attention of people from other people. Like it's all about attention. It's all about stuff to them. They don't see a value in any of it. They just want it all. Does that make sense? They're in this illusion that like that's what it's all about. It's all about having all of this stuff but not caring about it. Does that make any sense? Isn't the whole point of like buying one of these like really expensive bags is so that you can have it for a long time? Like, isn't that why Birkin was even made? Was just to have a really sturdy, durable, heavy duty bag that she could carry everything in. I think that's what it was. And it was like, oh, okay. And that's what, the person, I don't know, but there's a story around that, I guess. I don't know. I have to do my history on that bag. But isn't that why, like, they, you don't just buy any bag, you want to look at it. And, same way with men feel like watches, probably. Like, there's a reason why Rolex has all of these different things and they can only be sold at certain jewelers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? There's this specific part of exclusivity that is required to be able to not live in any illusions. And I feel like that is a good idea. Like there's nothing wrong with not being stuck to an attachment or in a psychosis or in a, toggle back and forth from being good and not being good. It's okay to ride the wave and just really have a nice, smooth sailing life. There's nothing wrong with that because stuff is going to come up regardless, right? I mean, like, let's just be honest. Stuff is going to come up regardless. So, ooh. So it's perfectionism rooted in pride. That's the problem. Mm. Wow. Perfectionism rooted in pride. That's what my notes here is like. That's what happens from, this excessive love of self, the ego, you know, especially when in a position of being a dustpan. Um, and that's the benefit of like these new beginnings, and which also like this bento box is like, okay, I'm always going to be in a mental prison as long as I keep myself there. So as long as I'm stuck to, eating the avocado chocolate mousse because I've learned to love it, I may need to go ahead and just like actually eat some cantaloupe. Yeah, some cantaloupe there, some blueberries and some pita and some edamame and some watermelon, some nice little slices of cheese, some Cheerios and some other little star things. And it's just like, it's good eats. Again, it's not about everything being vanilla or everything being chocolate. It's really about having like a variety. Some days it might be cookies and cream. Some days it might be Neapolitan. Some days it might be sorbet. Some days, you know what I mean? Some days it might be Italian ice, but you've got to be able to create that for yourself within your own energy. And that has a lot to do with what I was saying, like another moment of that aftermath, because people have to learn how to balance themselves out and really create the momentum for their own life force energy. Yeah, you can't be out here, trying to conflict and fight, your ego with somebody else's ego. It's like that's like a one-way battle. Like somebody's not focused on like the right things. Then that's, oh, look, that's bringing that Tower. Yeah, and the Chariot is back out here with the Temperance. Yep. And I feel like everything is coming into play too, because it's like the Temperance. And then I saw the Two of Coins to the Ten of Pentacles, which came out in the other reading, and the Indulgence and the Nine of Pentacles. But it's like this balance energy stands out first, because, of the capability to walk away from past stuff. Again, no attachment. And that's what people are realizing too, because it's like, well, if this person isn't attached to anything, then where does the entity go that we sent, that we created to attach? Look around. Look around, look around, look around, look around. That's what I'm being told to tell them. Because a lot of these people are wondering, where does that leave me? They're either going to experience this PTSD in some way, shape, or form. Because again, you can experience PTSD just simply from watching other people go through traumatic experiences. It could be you watching your family members experience a bunch of bad fortune, and sitting there with that guilt, knowing that you did something in the background somewhere else that had nothing to do with them, that now may be causing this to have an effect in their lives. People are now realizing, and I think that's where the collective had been. Oh, there was another word I didn't look up. Doshas. Doshas. I don't know what that means. Oh, doshas are types of energy in the body that are believed to influence physical, mental, and emotional characteristics. The term comes from Sanskrit, a Sanskrit word dosha, which means fault or disease. Doshas are three types of energy that circulate the body: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each dosha is responsible for specific psychological functions. For example, Pitta controls hunger, thirst, and body temperature. Health is achieved by balancing the three doshas. The Ayurvedic diet, based on determining your dominant dosha and eating specific foods to promote balance. Ooh, that's funny too, because this is my lunch meat, and we've been talking about like different foods. Yes, and I do believe that, also having, flexibility in one's diet aids in having a good dosha, like having a healthy balance. Nice. Ooh. And so in Vedic astrology, it says dosha refers to the imbalance that arises from the placement of celestial bodies in a person's birth chart. So it's like it has a lot to do with your astrology, which I did look up. This imbalance can affect various aspects of life, such as health, wealth, career, and marriage. So what I'm understanding is these individuals, ooh, look, I love it. As soon as I'm saying it, these individuals that have gotten to the point of being ready for union and all that stuff and have looked into their Vedic astrology and realized and been enlightened about like, okay, this is what I need to do. And so it's kind of like, even if they weren't looking for a specific effect, they were just trying to not have the same effect that they had a previous lifetime. So it's like, okay, if someone's Vedic astrology said you chose the wrong lover all your past lifetimes, or that's the trouble you have in this lifetime to overcome based on your Vedic astrology, then that person becoming enlightened to that says, okay, well, I'm going to figure out how to choose the right lover, what that looks like, what that smells like, what that talks like, you know? And by doing that, but again, it's both sides have to always be in union for this, right? There has to be this, you know, chivalrous energy, which we said chivalry is dead. It will know. So it has to be, another person has to also be wanting to have the same dosha. I don't know. Be on the same vibration, you know, experience like, you know, the same things, the same core values, which came out in the stuff. And I think I'm going to do astro signs, but I'm going to do astro signs in the reverse. So like whatever the reverse sign is. Okay, how long has this been so far? Oh, I can't even see. Oh, 40. Okay. But yeah, so the meme about all your exes sitting on your front porch, but I feel like spiritually that occurred. And, you know, I guess, you know, in that instance, you kind of have to address them to get them out the way, right? And, but essentially what has taken place now is like you and divine masculine and divine feminine have moved on, you know, emotionally. There's no sitting on the front porch because they've sold that establishment, you know, likely due to a lot of dishonesty, cheating, and being selfish. And that was done in the fall when all the healing and renewal energy started taking place. So everything was healed in the fall. And again, that's why I say right now you're building up that momentum. Right now is when you're moving forward and standing in that personal power. I just said that a bit ago. Embracing the change. So now, oh, today's the 23rd. So it's from yesterday. Oh, no, it's 22nd. Okay, I'm okay. So from today through the 29th is the time for some action energy. Time for some action. January 22nd through 29th. Okay. Let's see. What is the time for action? Why or what can we expect by taking the action, and what action to take? So what can we expect? What can we expect? What can we expect? Ooh, to not be burdened, to bring in this tower, or maybe the tower of like letting all the burdens go. So it's like, you know, it's not a moment of discomfort, or this tower is up. Ain't nothing happening with this burger. This burger good. It's just literally like you letting these burdens down, this 10 of Wands go, you know, is actually, you know, creating a nice burger tower for you. But for other people, it's a big sack of like stale bread or something. And it's being bred out of this like honest and true energy of like self-love and really, you know, standing up for what you want. Not being, you know, indecisive. So this is the period for not being indecisive. No attachments. Because those are attachments. Oh, there we go. That's essentially what leads to balance, because this is the Temperance card that I was talking about. So not having any attachments to any indecision is what. Okay, so that's a part of that entity that they created. It says, okay, trauma bonded, attaching an entity is for the relentless use of, so it's like child protective services. So it's like they could create an entity to either try to attach to you and an emotion that you experienced when you were a child, or they try to cause the experience in your child's life for you to relive it and go through some type of incredibly huge trauma. So they do that. It's like they will use either side, you know, to make you fearful or indecisive about which way to go with respect to, you know, your love and your emotions and stuff like that. So those are the love spells that they use during these periods, I guess. maybe even cloaking themselves in past people's energy, which is why you have to emotionally, mentally, all these moves. It's like that whole standing in one's personal power. Yes. So that's what's all this like moving energy. So maybe even imagine yourself moving spiritually, like in the dream world. Imagine yourself finding a new home, because that's what this part is. It's the homecoming. Ooh. Ooh, I love it. Ooh. And I feel like once, again, it's a part of that opening the heart chakra. So it's like once you start acting out of that heart chakra and that heart chakra only with respect to how you're living your life, like the thing that really gives you the most passion, the thing that you haven't had lately, or that you feel like, oh, it'd be so devilish of me to go and ask for that right now. Like, I want that right out the gate. Yep, you're in the race to win. That's why you need a horse that's ready to go. I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess that's what I'm supposed to tell you. Look, it's the Chariot card on the end of that. It's like, yes, in this instance, it's the materialism that exists is not the same. It is an honored and earned. It's like the opposite of hopelessness. It's like where you take your hopelessness for it to be changed. That was the other thing too. Okay, so because these people created an entity, so if Satan or the devil or whatever name you want to give him is a fallen angel, the one that they call the fallen angel, if they are fallen and then this place became theirs to do what they wanted to do with it, and essentially their goal was to get back in God's graces, right? Or to either prove something. What they wanted to prove, I think, was already proven, but now it's like been this race to kind of get things back. Yeah, like to get people to see the like value and the truth, because this is the Page of Swords, like just even the message of truth, the message of reason, you know the but yeah. So with that, that's why also if you see in some of the readings, it may switch out and say, well, the devil wants no part in this, the devil is on board with what's happening here, because it's time for that cycle and change. It's time for that moment to take place where people understand what we're really here for. This is so wow, because this is not something that the devil created. Okay. This is an entity that humans created. And that's why, some of us are here to help people understand, like, okay, we don't act out of this place. This is an experience. This is a part of the human experience. This is not where we're supposed to place our vibration. We're not supposed to keep our vibration rooted in heartache, because that is only a part of this vibration, this celestial experience here on this planet. I think I felt like I've preached this a long time ago. Like, we are celestial bodies. Like, people trying to operate from I don't know, like it's a very matrixy mindset, if you will, to think that like we're just this good and evil, we're just this and that. No, where there's a whole other part to it where it's appropriate to the vibration, um, so that you can learn. Oh gosh, the vibration is here for us to learn where to act out of to receive the things that we want, but people aren't getting that. That's why 3 connections are coming into union right now. Yeah. Ooh. The Tower came out of here twice, too. Oh, wow. Okay. So, but ultimately, like, essentially, what's happening at the end of the day, there will be no more wounded warrior energy. Like, there will be no more of this. This came out in the reverse. That's the wounded warrior. It's like, yeah, who wants cold fries? Ain't nobody eating no cold fries. And that's essentially what the universe is making sure that people surrender to. It's like the fish that are out in the ocean swimming, thinking that they're about to go, eat up some more whatever the fish in the ocean eat. They don't know they're about to get caught. They think they're getting another bite. And that's where these people are. Like I said, it's about to present to them the same way everything was prior to that last moment when they had the opportunity to go within, but instead they wanted to look outside at the collective instead of seizing their moment on their own. That's really what is about to take place. And these people are so arrogant, so stuck in their ego that they're like, oh, no, I don't believe this. And, da, 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 da. And they end up in the same spot again. And it's so quick. Just like those fires that keep popping up and ruining stuff. That's also part of it too. That was one of the definitions too, was something about the fire. But yeah, this is, where these people are. It's not like they asked, to be surrendered or to surrender to this, or they weren't, looking for it, just like we weren't, necessarily looking to to really take on a new love interest. Like a lot of us were just intending to, leave the last love interest and, be happy. And that's what we're getting, that we're leaving. It's exactly what you're getting. Um, so, but it was like also having the special focus of being able to create a friendship is a part of it too, because there's nothing, it's all part of that. Like nothing compares to you energy, that Prince song. Look. Because it's kind of like even like all the riches wouldn't, because essentially, what do those matter without you is the energy. Nice. And a lot of these people feel like they have that energy for you, but that's not what it is, because they don't treat you right when you're in their energy, because they haven't healed themselves. Like they still struggle with that dustpan and pride. Dustpan pride. Can you imagine? Oh, and that's the thing too. Like so many people feel this way about you because you really are this loving person. Like you made a lot of people, you made almost everyone that you came in contact with, if not everyone that you came in contact with, feel like somebody. Like you made sure that you left an impression, even if it was just in the passing, right? But because you were able to really genuinely do that without it being a part of like trying to, write numbers and inch marks down, like, okay, I got 5 today, because you weren't in that energy and you were just doing it from the heart, you know what I mean? Just, because some people are acting out of heartache, like, okay, if I can just get 3 more, this way, then I'll be able to remove those 3. Like, that's not how it works. Again, it's going through the emotional things that cause you to be unsatisfied, with what you're receiving in the, in your life in different areas. What leaves you still a little hungry. What puts you in a race without a horse. Nobody wants to be in that, right? So that's what's happening here. People are just meeting the right people at the right time. Yep. To get out of this Nine of Pentacles energy and on to what's beyond that, because Nine of Pentacles is great. Nine of Pentacles is absolutely, creating the energy and the vibration for affluence and permanence and, all of those lovely things. It's all coming to fruition, this material gratitude and luxury, right? Leaving all lack mindset along the way. But a part of leaving the lack mindsets means that you do actually have everything. So you do have to fill every one of your cups, to not constantly be looking to see, because that'll get you back in that 7 of Cups energy. So yeah, this 3 of Wands wants to be out. Ooh, look, 3 of Wands to the 6 of Wands. I think they came out before too. Yep. And 6 of Cups. Yeah, that was definitely an energy too. It's like celebrating with friends. That was at the top of like the astral readings. Yep. Because you've been illuminated to like all of the heartache, because you've been illuminated to the places that needed healing, that needed, discovery, and, the relationships that needed correction or, rejection or whatever it is. But it feels like it was all, with good effort, with good intention, with and with good result too now, right? So yeah, it's like the release of this like the burdens come from, even though you've been responsible for things, it's like allowing someone to be responsible for you, even if it's just in the heart space, even if it's just in the heart space. It's literally just like changing and being creative in the way that you, get around, the way that you move. I like the way you move. That gets all of the burdens. Ooh, wow. Yep. Okay. All right, I hope that this has been helpful and insightful in some way, shape, or form. Let me shuffle through these notes really quick, see if there's anything else. Questioning. Well, it was funny because I was like, well, I was starting my investigations of like what type of magic they do and like how it works and what it could do. But I was like, the kitchen spells seem like lately, it's like whenever they do something that they consider to be a kitchen spell, because it depends on who's doing it, right? They end up making like whatever you do in your kitchen, so like your food come out really just right. If you're like cleaning up, like you don't miss a spot and it happens quickly, and it's like, or if you've been feeling that energy of like your ancestors telling you when you saying when, okay, that's enough. Like it's really that, because there aren't any attachments that exist, so that's why you get to live free in that energy. So it's like, again, another notation of like how they send things, and you'll know. But this is one of the ways that you may not have realized, because I know lately everything I've been cooking, I've been like, nigga, get you one of these, and it'd be something different all the time. And I've been like, whoo, we've been enjoying that. It's the energy of like, there are no leftovers because it was so yummy kind of energy. Yep. So, and again, that this all comes and stems from standing into that personal power, moving forward, and embracing change. I hope that this has been helpful and effective in some way, shape, or form, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later. Oh, wait. I still to get one more inspo card if I can find. Let's see. I'll do one of these because I can't find the big one. There we go. Nice. A note on love. Seek different seasons and enter into the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and the soul. I love it. Ain't that what I just said in the reading? Okay, bye. Bye. See you later. Bye.